Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Remember that whole Donald Sterling situation was going on?
Mm-hmm.
And Donald Sterling said something, and I want your opinion on this. He said, remember when he was talking about Magic Johnson? He was saying Magic Johnson and these other rich celebrities and athletes and everything, they don't help the black community.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that? Do you think the black celebrities have a responsibility to help, or what do you mean? What's your thoughts on that?
That's a real tricky question because it depends on what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, what is our goal? And this is the thing that I always ask the question on my videos and in my whatever page and channels on social media. I ask the same question: what is our end game? Because if our end game is to be Americans, then no, they don't have no obligation to do nothing. They have no obligation to look out for themselves and their family. Mm-hmm. But if our end game is to have power, if our end game is to have land, infrastructure, and nationhood, then their obligation is to be down with that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Not
Gotcha.
necessarily like doing the typical things of giving to a charity and opening up some store or movie theater. No, being involved in the yeah. But if you're involved in nationhood, then maybe some of those dollars that you're spending on movie theaters can be in. You can put a movie theater on your own land.
Right. Kind of like
put
Oprah
that money toward infrastructure. Excuse me?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was going to say kind of like Oprah when she opened that school in South Africa, but you live in Chicago, and you're going to go help South Africa, which, I don't mind her helping Africans, but, I don't see why she wouldn't have opened a school in Chicago first, but that's just my opinion,
and,
you know what I mean?
Like, what about that school in Africa? Because I don't know too much about it. Is it a private school?
I think it's an all-girls school, actually, if I remember right. Now, I might be wrong on that, but I think it's like an all-girls school.
I don't really want to talk about it because I don't really know that much about it, but I'm curious to know how that school is funded. Is it funded just primarily through her? Is it funded through the government of South Africa? You know what I mean? I don't really know that much about it. Yeah.
Right.
But what I would say is African American celebrities, what I would like for them to do, and see, the thing is, it's kind of hard for me to request them to do it because the BAIO is more like it hasn't been mainstreamed yet. So the concept that we're talking about, we're gathering support, on a basically local level,
right,
and through the social media and stuff, but it hasn't caught on to the point where it's become, a mainstream talking point. Right now, the mainstream talking point is to be the best American you can be. Everything is set up in America. Nobody is even talking or touching upon the continent and the possibilities of building a nation state and having independence outside of America. So ultimately, the answer to that question, the roundabout thing is, before we can even answer it, we got to determine what our end game is. What is our end game as African people here in America? What do we want to do? Because if you don't know what you want to do, if you don't have a vision, then it's kind of hard to come up with strategies and tactics.
Right. I got you. Okay. Right. I feel you on that. I know you always say, black people should do like Israel, do like the Jews and set up their own Israel, right?
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that 100%. You know.
Yep.
But it's gonna be how do we get them to? Because you know, black people are way too scared to do something like that. You know.
Well, we are dealing with people of like mind. We're dealing with other nationalists and other progressives. Like it's not about quantity; it's about quality. You know, we need to get the people who first
save
of all,
everybody, right?
Yeah, the people. There are people in the, and I use this for lack of a better term, conscious community, like cultural conscious community, who want a nation state. You know, they want a nation state. Even the ones that's not exactly nationalist, as you know, I am, or in the demographic that I represent. Even the religious ones, a lot of them do want a nation state. When they put their religion to the side and just look at their conditions, they go, you know what, we need a nation state. We need something that we can control. So it's a very popular idea. It's just that people aren't pushing it. We don't have the biggest microphone. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's changing. That's changing because, like I said, we launching this. This is the first show, but there's going to be shows every single day talking about the talking points of land, infrastructure, nation, and letting people know in detail that this is not a difficult thing. The only thing that makes it difficult is that people won't just embrace the concept and surround themselves with people of like mind, because you know how it goes. You know how it goes when things become viral. It's because people are pushing it and sharing it and sending it to people. That's how it becomes viral. So far, Nationhood hasn't become viral for our people. We still want it. We're still in complaining mode. Complaining is viral. You know, but solution-oriented stuff is not viral. It's like you can always. I go on my timeline, and all I hear is, oh my, and you know, it makes me so angry. And maybe it shouldn't. Maybe I'm just being, you know. But what makes me angry is when I hear, yo, this black person did this. Now, if it was a white person, what do you think would happen? Dumb motherfucker. Don't you realize where do you think we are living? We're living in America.
Right.
You can keep asking that question, and I keep hearing it over and over and over again in different contexts, as if there's going to be a different answer.
Right.
The answer's the same. We're in America. So, of course, white people are going to be allowed to get away with things that we can't get away with. If I had a white boy made that clock, do you think that would have been a national story?
If they had been giving him an award, they swear he invented the clock. Hey,
exactly.
He's the first white dude to ever build a clock. Here you go. Let's give him 10 awards. Right. Like, know what you're saying?
Exactly. You know what I mean? So that's what the problem is, man. We gotta determine what we want as a people, and the people at the grassroots level are going to determine where we go. Like if that becomes, if nationhood becomes a groundswell amongst the grassroots, then people have no choice. The people at the top are the people who call themselves black representatives and people who call themselves black leaders. They will have no choice but to listen, because it's just like in politics. You notice Donald Trump is popular, so what is everybody doing? They bend into Donald Trump.
Yep.
That's how it works. True. These people have no spines. These leaderships have no spine. All they want to do is follow whoever is the most popular. Like whatever the most popular thing is, yes, I'm down for that, even though they don't believe it.
Yep, that's right. Yeah. Hey, you know what bothers me? Like you said, even though it's just started, it's the first night. You know, you got these guys who are already established, who got these shows that people, you know, they got thousands of subscribers or whatever. And they spend the whole time talking about baby mamas and all these dudes that ain't doing nothing, and you know what I'm saying? Just like, really, you got all this attention. You got the attention of these a couple of hundred to a couple thousand of people, and you want to spend the whole time talking about baby mamas? And really? And they're in the show. And no, go ahead.
It's crazy. We talk about this all the time within our network. Those are people want to berate black people over social issues and personal choices. Yes. But they want to do it within the context of America. It's like one of the things that I just can't understand. There's a controversy about whether or not you should stand for the national anthem. whether or not you should celebrate the 4th of July, whether or not you should celebrate Christmas and all these other holidays. Let me give you a news flash. Where are you living? Right. If you are that hardcore, you want to reject everything about America, but yet you don't want to reject America.
Exactly. Yep.
It's a contradiction. And the reason why they get caught up in these social issues about baby mamas and natural hair and interracial dating, all this BS topics that they keep regurgitating over and over again, is because it's stalling tactics that avoid the solution of nationhood.
Yep.
Because once you establish that nationhood is the solution, then that cuts out all of that other stuff, and now we start working toward nationhood.
Right. And they don't want to do that.
You're going to get an example. What we say?
No, I was gonna say that's like you were saying in that one video, stalling tactics. It's stalling. That's all they do. They're like, hey, we're gonna put all these smoke and mirrors up, and because that's what they do. They want everybody to keep running back to them to keep hearing them talk about nothing.
Yeah, like this is the philosophy. This is the philosophy, brother. Before we go outside, or before we go to Africa, we got to speak an African language. Number one, we got to have an African language that everybody speaks. Now think about that. Think about that. Think how ridiculous that is. How long does it take for the whole populace to learn a new language?
Before everyone could use it, it'll take about 5 generations.
Exactly. And then to use it as a business language too, to do trade and commerce with, that is classic stalling tactics. Classic stalling tactics. Yeah, that's just, let's just stay here, but like, as if you're going to develop a new language system in America.
Right. Come on, man.
What, you're going to develop your lingua franca here in America, and then you're going to transport it over there. It's all stalling tactics. They don't want to go. They're in love with America, but they hate America at the same time. They're almost as psychotic as white people who hate black people and love them at the same time. It's a real dysfunctional relationship. And I'm trying to get a divorce. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm with you. I want this relationship annulled.
Exactly.
Like I told you, I live in Arkansas, and where I stay at, I'm in the backyard of the Walmart home office, Tyson home office, and JB, all those companies, right? And my job, I do a lot of dealings with them, and and like we had these big conferences and meetings and different things. You know how everybody, it's like in high school, how everybody group up, the whites over here, the Mexicans over there, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
The black people don't group up. It's like they go over, it's like we're all scattered in the room. You know what I mean? Like all the foreign people, they congregate in this area. The whites over here. The blacks are all scattered. Nobody, because they don't want to look like it's a group of black people over there. What are they talking about? You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to go to another call, but I want to answer this before.
Okay.
All right. Actually, I'll put you on mute and I'll answer the question.
All right, do that.
All right. See, the reason why that dynamic occurs is because if you go to the conscious community is not really African-centered. Like, there's so many demographics and so many things in the conscious community that ain't got nothing to do with Africa. You got a whole lot of New Age religions. You got a whole lot of just imaginary locations and stuff. It's like you go to the conscious community, it's a virtual hodgepodge of ideologies. See, I don't claim conscious community. I claim to be African-centered progressive. Now, there are other brothers who's African-centered conservatives or African-centered, libertarian. It's like, but the basic thing is African-centered, centered around Africa. When we talk about what we want a nation or who we want a nation state for, we're talking about descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. That's who we're talking about. In the conscious community, I mean, you can be talking to, Chief Running Coon, of the Wasikta tribe. These guys are they want to be Native American. They want to be aliens from another planet. We're not dealing with that. What we're dealing with is very specific. And when you get specific, a lot of these, people just drop off because they can't relate and they can't, influence us. Descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. So if you are a transatlantic slave trade denier, there's no place for you in the BAIO. If you're a Native American, as I always say, go to your teepee, smoke your peace pipe, and get with your other Native American brethren and sistren and try to figure out how you're going to get this country back from the white man. Stay out of black African business. Us, black African people, descendants of the transatlantic slave trade, we want a nation state. So if you want to stay in America and deal with drones and internal civil war, go ahead and knock yourself out. That's what I got to say about that.